Hello friends, in this lecture I will be talking about element identification methods in Appium. So let's get started. In Appium there are mainly four types of element identification methods. One is Xpath, then ID, class name and accessibility ID. Out of that, accessibility ID is the most preferred way of identifying elements because that's the fastest way. But if some element doesn't have the if specific element doesn't have accessibility ID, then you can go for ID, class name or XPath. And if you are familiar with Xpath expressions that you use in Selenium, same Xpath expressions can be used in Appium as well. So on this particular website I have given some sample Xpath expressions that are very useful that you can use. For example, to identify the elements whose tag starts with input and type attribute is hidden, you can use this particular Xpath. Here instead of input in apps, mobile apps, input element is not available. Instead of that, it might be XUI type button, or in case of Android it will be Android.widget.button or something like that. The class name will be different, but the syntax wise, if you look, it will be the similar syntax that you can use in Appium as well. So here I have got one example for demonstrating this thing, and you can see here I've used several types of element identification methods there. So here I'm using this finding the element using find element by accessibility ID. So the element should have accessibility ID defined, otherwise this method will not work. Some elements may not have accessibility ID. In that case you can go for ID, XPath or name, tag name, sorry. So if element has got ID attribute, then you can use this syntax. Then if it has XPath, actually XPath is like customizable. You can write the XPath based upon the attributes and what value it has got. So here it is identifying the element whose name attribute is equal to compute sum button, and here star means any class, like it can be button, it can be label, anything. But if you are sure that it will be a specific type of class, then you can mention the class here instead of star. And here I have identified the element using tag name. So these are various methods that you can use to identify the elements. And if you are not sure if the element has got accessibility ID, we have already seen how we can inspect the elements in Android and iOS. So in Android you can use UI Automator Viewer, and in iOS apps you can use this inspector tool in Appium desktop application. So if you have more questions on this, or if you are unable to identify the elements in the app, then you will need to contact me, or you can put the comments down there in this video. I will try to explain and help you. Thank you for watching this video.